Hotspur Stadium, Mike Robb. We are back at Wembley tomorrow for Rams Bengals at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Let's quickly look back at those first two games in London this year that I was just talking about.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Bears Raiders underway.
Tampa Bay hosting the Carolina Panthers.
Jacobs breaks through. Touchdown.
Ball to McCaffrey. Did he get it? Nope. Touchdown.
Rolling, throwing. Touchdown. Here comes Jacobs. Dives over the top. Touchdown Raiders.
McCaffrey makes a guy miss to the 10. Touchdown.
Down the right side. Touchdown Allen Robinson.
Intercepted by Carolina in the end zone. 5 picks thrown today.
Up in the air. Intercepted. Picked up by Conley.
Final score 37-26 Carolina.
And the Raiders upset the Bears 24-21.
Who Day in the UK. That's the hashtag that's trending right now, Mike Robb, or at least it should be. Who Day in the UK. Do people send postcards anymore?
No.
They don't? They should. That's a nice. Well,
I just bought one in Minneapolis.
there you go. See?
I did.
Colleen Wolfe. Did you?
For my nephew's project.
Oh, okay.
All right, maybe not as nice of a gesture as I thought it was there, Colleen Wolfe. But if you'd like to send one to me, Omar Ruiz, I'll take it. You're live from Wembley. You've been covering the Bengals and Rams all week. What's happening, buddy? What do you got for us?
Well, we're expecting about 86,000 people. I don't know how many of that will be the Who Day Nation, but we saw several of them out and about the last couple of days, hitting the streets here in London. Of course, the Bengals trying to get that first win of the season, and it won't get any easier going against the NFC champs in the Rams. Of course, we knew A.J. Green and Cordy Glenn, major components of the offense, weren't going to go tomorrow. Green did make the trip, however. And then yesterday we learned familiar faces to the defense won't be playing either. Darqueze Dennard, Dre Kirkpatrick, and Carl Lawson. Preston Brown, linebacker, told me it's starting to take its toll on their defense. We've heard the old adage, it's a cliche because it's true. You got to be able to run the football, and you have to be able to stop the run. The Bengals last in the league in both departments. Brown telling me guys are over pursuing, getting out of position, trying to make something happen, and he's been guilty of that himself. He says he's trying to get a pick six on every play, trying to get something going for the defense. It's also taken its toll off the field. Of course, Brown grew up in Cincinnati, so he's been noticing that stink eye throughout town. He told me he hasn't gotten a haircut in more than a month, trying to avoid that barbershop talk because, of course, as he said, the fella's real honest there. So if nothing else, Bengals trying to get a win so Brown can get a haircut once again.
Omar, can you keep it down, please? I'm trying to hear what's happening behind you there.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to the promos here. I can't even hear myself think. It's going to be exciting tomorrow. My first game in London. Action-packed. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
Oh, good. Got everything. Omar, great job. That's a field reporter's nightmare.
Omar just playing through adversity.
I love Omar.
That's awesome.
He jumped a little bit when he started talking. Like, oh, snap. They behind me, man.
Last week, the Rams, they traded for Jalen Ramsey. This week, a few more teams made some moves with the trade deadline lurking on Tuesday. New England sent a second-rounder to to Atlanta for Mohamed Sanu. And then the Niners, they also added a receiver, as we talked about a little earlier, Emmanuel Sanders from the Broncos. Safety Quandre Diggs, he moved from Detroit to Seattle. And the Cowboys picked up defensive end Michael Bennett from the Patriots. So, Dion, let's start with Sanders in San Francisco. What was your reaction to this? How do you like it?
I mean, at first, I didn't love the move. You know, I felt like they needed a more of a speed guy to go along with Goodwin to stretch that field. I know how Kyle Shanahan offenses work. He loves guys who can take the top off of defenses and make you commit on that play-action pass game. But the more I kind of sat down and looked at it, and Mike Robb, obviously, as he does, he convinced me that this was a good trade. And I did feel like from even a veteran leadership standpoint, to have a guy like Emmanuel Sanders in that locker room, in that receivers room, they have some great young players. And so I'm hearing Pettis might be on the way out as well. But, I mean, they have some great young players that I think if they follow suit to how Emmanuel Sanders has become a pro. You know, this was a third-round draft pick in Pittsburgh who down in and down out. He's the guy that people don't remember was there with Antonio Brown, Mike Wallace, all those young, just energetic receivers. And so he's carved out a nice career, and I think he's a heck of a receiver. He's still a number one, even coming off the Achilles. I think he helps his team out a whole lot.
I totally agree. And you mentioned he's still a number one, and I think he'll be a number one receiver here, but he won't be the number one threat in San Francisco.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
George Kittle, this offense runs through George Kittle. I love the pickup of Emmanuel Sanders, but I like what my old team did, what the Seattle Seahawks did. They got Quandre Diggs. I mean, and it may not be a splash pickup like, the Sanu pickup and some of these other trades were, but this dude is a glue guy in the locker room, okay? When we won our Super Bowl in 2013, our roster was littered with these guys being able to understand how to deal with adversity, understand how to deal when things don't go right in a game, and know how to keep your head together and get it straight. Also, I've been concerned about Seattle playing base to a lot of three wide receivers sets. I think this gives them a big nickel package. He can be in the slot, he can blitz, he can make tackles in the run game, which other defensive backs wouldn't be able to.
And allows Marquise Blair, the rookie second rounder who's playing well, the two of them be a new safety pairing for a defense that needs to tighten it up on the back end.
And Diggs said he was blindsided by the whole thing.
I didn't think he would be moved. He's a solid player.
Nobody saw it.
This is the second year they did that, because they did it with Golden Tate too last season at the deadline. And right now you look at them, they're 2-3-1, but their losses, it was just a 4-point loss to Kansas City, that 1-point loss to Green Bay. So that was surprising. But I liked Michael Bennett to the Cowboys because this just made sense to me, because you could see that his time was sort of expiring. He fell out of favor in New England with the Patriots. And so why not go to the Cowboys, where we just talked about the Seahawks. They have their DB coach, Chris Richard, who Michael Bennett and Chris Richard were together in Seattle from 15 to 17. Those were Bennett's 3 Pro Bowl seasons there. And, of course, Martellus Bennett, Michael's brother, he played for the Cowboys, too, as a tight end, their second-round pick. So it just kind of all made sense.
I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of pictures and stuff that go around of Chris Richard on the sideline going crazy, getting at the defense. And what you bring in with a guy like Michael Bennett is a guy who, when players are in their quiet time amongst themselves, not around the coaches, a guy that's going to continue to talk the philosophy.
It's funny, Michael wasn't happy in New England. He's going to Dallas, where Martellus wasn't happy early in his career, and then he went. It's funny to me. Mohamed Sanu, that's my guy for the most impactful trade. He'll do some of the Gronk stuff, Mike Rob, that they've been missing this year with this team. So I think he could have a really big impact. We'll have more on him later in the show. We got to go. I'll have more on him tomorrow on Game Day Morning, too. How about that?
Ooh.
Just teasing.
A lot of teases.
We're out of time.
Let's get to the actual information.
We're out of time. Apparently, we're not out of time.
Well, now we are. Now we are. Carson Wentz, is he out of time right now? We need to talk about